Hi, my name is Georgia Scarlett, and you're listening to Smash FM. You can follow me on all the streaming platforms and social media via Georgia Scarlett Music.
Welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM here on a Monday because let's talk a bit about music to start our Monday. And of course, it is great to have this music artist on the show because she just had a recent single that got released recently, which is More Than a Smile because her name is Georgia Scarlett. She joins us right now. Thanks, Georgia, for joining us.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Well, firstly, congratulations on the new release, More Than a Smile. Tell us a bit about it.
Thank you so much. It feels so surreal to have this song out in the world. It means a lot to me. It's the final single release of my debut album, Rhythm of Life. So the last one being out there, it means a lot. And it's a song that I just connect with so strongly. I don't think I realized how much it meant to me until I released it out into the world, and I've seen, the people's response, which has been just incredible so far. Um, I like to call it my breakup friendship anthem because
Oh,
there's so many like relationship breakup songs out there. And the amount of, breakups and friendships that happen and how painful that can be is just as bad as, a relationship. Um, so that's what the song's really all about. Instead of taking, this negative or hurtful approach, I wanted to take a different approach and songwriting lens to create this song a little bit more upbeat and it's for those who have been hurt but want to dance anyway, because there's enough bad energy in the world, you know? So why not dance instead?
it kind of goes in the rhythm of your other songs that you've got as well. I guess where do you think this fits into your other amazing six singles that you have?
Yeah, I think what I've been trying to capture with this whole album, I've got, yeah, the five singles out of the album, and they all came about at a very similar time period in my life. So when I create, a project like an album, I really think about how the narrative is fluid throughout all of the tracks. And I have titled it Rhythm of Life, which is after my debut single. And I felt like that really captured the essence of what all of these songs really, communicate is that ebb and flow, that change in life that happens and just how we deal with that. You have your big high moments and then those lows, and it's continuously moving and changing. So each single in itself is showing a different emotion and feeling over time, no matter what changes are happening in your life. So I think that's the real main connection in that storytelling narrative kind of aspect of creating a project. Sonically, um, recording wise, I've utilized a lot of similar instrumentation to create that flow of that country, folk, indie sound. Obviously, each song has its, different kind of core. Can't Stop Time is like really stripped back and sad and, just guitar and voice, whereas Rhythm of Life is this big, more rock ensemble, and Cursive, you've got string instruments and banjo and clarinet and piano. So they all have their own signature sound, but I think the order I've released them in as well, they connect in that, sonic journey as well, which is so fun to create, project is awesome.
How's the reactions been like to More Than a Smile?
It's been awesome. I'm just so grateful because, every time you release a song as an independent artist, it's really hard and you do really never know what the response is going to be like. And each time it's different, no matter how much energy you put in and how many people you send it out to, each song is different. And I think the response to this song has been just really awesome. I think it's shown how relatable it is. A lot of people connecting with the lyrics of the song and the message of, so many people out there get hurt and, they don't want to sit and cry and be angry at the world. They want to be able to move on and, have a laugh and have a dance and, surround yourself with people that make you happy. So I think it's really connected with a lot of people in its story. And I mean, that's all I could hope for, as an artist.
Doing any gigs coming up for this song that we should be aware of in the month of June?
Yeah. Well, I had my big headline single release show. Oh, how long ago was that now? A week and a bit ago. Which was just incredible. Oh, so beautiful to have all my friends and family in the room. But yeah, in June, it's a little bit more quiet because, I'm doing a lot of recording now for the album. But I've got some little solo shows happening, at some lovely pottery, places and cafes. But I've also got a battle of the bands that I'm doing with my band, which is on Wednesday, the 18th of June at the Bright Side in Brisbane, which is going to be awesome because on the night, there's going to be three punk rock bands fronted by men. And then to end the night, there's a female fronted country folk band. So I'm hoping we can make history and win the Battle of the Bands that night. So we'll need, people coming out and supporting. And then on the 27th of June, the band and I are playing in Queen Street Mall, on the main stage, which is going to be fun as well. Yeah.
Been up there in Queensland. Any plans of performing down here in Melbourne?
I would absolutely love to. And it is on the horizon. I actually lived in Melbourne for between 6 and 7 years. Um, 10 or 11 years ago now. So I've got, some good friends down there and some artists that I really admire and would love to play a show with. So it is on the cards for my album launch. I haven't, announced anything yet, but
Ooh.
for my album at the end of this year, I'm hoping to do a big show here and then, maybe go to the cities I've lived in as well. So Melbourne and Adelaide are very much on the cards.
Are you hoping to release it without giving too much away?
Hmm. I think it's so hard as an artist putting, a time on a project that means so much. I've had, people that I've interviewed as well, say that they've had to put down a date so that they're motivated to actually, do it and get it out and get it done. But for me, I think because this project means so much, I don't want to rush it. I
Yeah,
want it to be exactly how I envision it. So I haven't put a specific date on it yet. I'm hoping to know by around the end of August. But I'm really, really aiming for November, December this year. Hopefully making it to Melbourne sometime in the coming year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the love of music start for you? Because obviously you're a music artist, but you just mentioned that you also interview people on your own radio show, similar to mine. Where did the love come from?
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing. And, every time I'm asked this, it takes me, back to when I moved to Brisbane. Because before then, when I lived in Melbourne and Adelaide, I was a fairly sporty kid. Sporty. I played every sport under the sun. I was a golfer. I was an AFL player. I was a runner. And I always loved, singing around the house. I was, very actively engaged and, extroverted, running around all the time and singing. But it never occurred to me that that was my calling until I moved here. And in primary school here, I, joined a choir and I picked up the clarinet. So it was my piano teacher. I fell out of love with piano. She was actually selling a clarinet, and I went, all right, see ya. I'll take that and move on. And I think that's where my love really sparked for it. I picked up this beautiful orchestral instrument and could play all of these delicate melodies. And I joined a choir. I went to a beautiful high school, Stuart Home, that had an incredible music curriculum that really pushed me to give it a go. And I would, sing in front of heaps of people at assemblies, and I was the music captain. And it didn't really occur that I was going to do it full time until, oh, mid-year 12 when I really had to decide what I wanted to do for study. And I went, hey, Mum, I think I have to do music. She was like, oh no. So it was very much, it was always there, throughout high school. And I, did some songwriting competitions in year 10 and won some awards and always loved it. But I never thought, damn, I could do this as a career until, it came down to crunch time and I really had to decide, um, do I do IT?
Yeah.
Do I do law? Or do I do music and pursue this passion of mine? Um, so yeah, history since then.
What's
Mm.
more rewarding? Is it songwriting or performing?
Oh. Both equally. I mean, you can't have performance without songwriting. There's nothing that beats the feeling of writing a song you really love. Like when you sit down and you go, I've got all of this inspiration to write, and it just flows out, and you write a song you're really proud of. I mean, that is just the best feeling. But I think I was born very much a natural performer. And I love a stage. I don't just go up to sing and share a story. I go up to perform and, dance and run around the stage and engage with an audience. So, you know, it would be so hard, being a musician and not being able to engage with an audience and communicate with them. I think at the end of the day, if I'm giving someone a gift, like that's the best gift of all for me.
Do you have any future ambitions in music?
Oh, yeah. I'm currently studying music at university. I finished this year. And so really I'm going for the dream, the giant dream that so many people go for, but I'll give it my best shot. I'm gonna put my all into it over the next few years and just see how it goes. And I think music in general will always play a big part in my life, no matter what happens. I study some journalism on the side as well. And I have, yeah, my own radio show, 4ZZZ Radio here in Brisbane. And I just love it, whether I'm writing, whether I'm playing with my band, performing live, whether I'm posting fun social media content with music, or if I'm interviewing an artist, I think music will always be the thing, no matter what form it is in. So yes, music is very much what I will be hoping to pursue and will pursue.
Yeah.
Just in what form is, the question. But at the end of the day, I would love to be a full-time, musician and touring and getting to share more of my music with the world. It just needs to find the right ears, so that can happen.
What does music mean to you now?
Everything. That's a massive question. I mean, like I wake up and I think music and I do music. Everything, I surround myself with is music. Maybe it's a little bit obsessive, but I think it's um but yeah, music is, what does it mean to me? It is a way of communicating with other people and, being authentic to myself and sharing my thoughts and feelings with other people that feel the same way. And it's a form of therapy, really. It's a hug. Music to me is a big, warm hug. It's a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
My calling on this earth.
and and I have to ask, is there a particular artist that inspires you?
So many. I mean, I wake up each day, each weekend I'm going to different gigs, and this music industry, the Australian music industry
Mm.
is phenomenal. There's not just one or two big artists that inspire me. I think it's all the people like around me that create, this music industry and fill it with so much color and light. the people that inspire me the most, you know. I think talking on a larger scale, um, definitely artists like I've always loved Marlon Williams, from New Zealand, and Lisa Mitchell from Australia. They're great storytellers, and that's what
Mhm.
I look for in music, you know. I listen to so much music, you know, whether it's funk music, folk music, punk rock music. I definitely have a folk obsession, but no matter what kind of music is, it's the storytellers.
Mm.
Um, Madeline Roger from Canada is awesome as well. But yeah, it's the people that, you know, in my circle of the Brisbane music scene that inspire me, you know, people just doing what they love. Yeah.
Now, obviously, Brisbane being a lively city, I used to live in Brisbane myself.
Oh,
The first part is, do you have a venue that you love going back to over and over again to perform? And then the second part of that question, obviously, with the Olympics coming up in 7 years' time, in Brizzy, is that something you want to do? Maybe, perform at the Olympics when it eventually happens in 7 years?
well, that would be a dream, wouldn't it? That would be incredible. Yeah. Oh, so a venue that I always love going back to. I mean, there's again so many great venues, and it's such a shame that so many of them are closing down. I mean, it just breaks my heart when, you know, I get up in the morning and I see another post of, you know, a beloved venue closing. But one that so many of them are great, but I think the one that I love so much, and it comes back to this aspect of community, which
Mm.
I hold very highly, is the Cave Inn in Woolloongabba. Um,
Yes.
yeah, they are just awesome. You know, it's accessible. It has beautiful food and seating and tables for people, so it's accessible for everyone. And I mean, playing a show that's, you know, a giant stage and, you know, standing is like awesome, great fun, but it's not always the most accessible.
Yes.
Um, so I love the Cave In, great sound, and you know, Felix and Ruth that work there are just beautiful people, and I know them through 4 Triple Z as well. So they're connected with 4 Triple Z Radio, and the people that, you know, are brought to these gigs. It's all about the support of the community, and you know, nothing beats that. Nothing beats that at all. Yeah.
What will be your advice to people that should get involved in music?
My advice for people that should be getting involved, want to be getting involved with music, just go for it. What are you afraid of, you know? Like you never know until you try. I think there's a lot of people and a lot of my friends that, you know, create beautiful music and are so scared to share it with the world. But what have you got to lose,
Mm.
right? I really think, especially in the world of music that we live in today, is there is a niche genre for everyone, you know. No matter what music you create, there is an audience for it, right? And it just has to find the right ears, and you never know what's going to happen. So go for it. Be authentic to yourself. Don't try and be anyone else, you know. Don't try and be Katy Perry or Sabrina Carpenter. They already exist, you know. Take inspiration from the people that you admire, but don't try and be them because there's no one better than yourself, I think. And that's always been my way of approaching music is, you know, just be you. You're going to enjoy it more, and people are going to like it more when you're being authentic. Yeah.
We'll finish with some light-hearted questions, which is, do you have any embarrassing moments on stage? And have you also forgotten a lyric to a song?
Ooh, yes, embarrassing moments on stage. Depending on the people you ask, maybe there's a lot of embarrassing moments on stage. I'm quite I've got quite a big personality, and I'm not really afraid of too much. So if you put me on stage with a mic, I may say some funny things, but you know, I'm never embarrassed by it because that's, you know, my personality. And again, I want to be authentic to myself. A funny moment that happened recently, I was opening for Ishan at It's Still a Secret, and it was just a solo gig, and we fully sold out. So it was a sold out room, which was beautiful, nice and packed, but there was this little gap between the stage and the front row of people. And so I always like people to come up a little bit closer. So I said, I said to them, why are you so far away? Come up a little bit closer. Don't worry, I don't bite. And then I barked at them and said, but don't test me. And it got quite a few laughs, which was good. And I sold a few t-shirts that night, so I'm thinking that it landed. But my friends will always bully me for that one. Um, and the second part of your question, often, more than often, I don't really ever forget lyrics to a song. I think it becomes so muscle memory. The more you think about it, the more likely you're going to say the wrong lyrics. If anything, I'll fill it in with something else and no one will know. There was a time recently at the beginning of this year where I played like 4 shows that week and I was a bit sick and very exhausted, and it really showed. And I went, oh, great. And in one of my songs, I did forget the lyrics that I never forget. And my drummer was singing in the audience and was like, what happened? Like, you always know this lyric. And, it's a brain fart kind of moment when you're so sick, your
Right.
mind goes cloudy. So I know for next time, if I'm that sick, maybe don't do the show. Yeah,
Like the good old saying of, the show must go on.
exactly. Exactly. I've never stopped, like if you forget something, you just pretend you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing when you're so familiar with your songs, you can do that, like just sing other lyrics or skip a section and no one will know. You just have to write it with confidence.
We'll finish with these last two. For everyone that should follow your music on their favorite streaming services, how can I go about, Georgia?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Again, I'm all about accessibility. So no matter what, streaming service you have, I'll be there. So if you look up Georgia Scarlett Music, I'm on all of the streaming services. And then if you want to follow some fun content, I'm like a content creator for a few different businesses, including my own. So you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Georgia Scarlett Music, and I post fun, stupid videos all the time. So if that's your thing, I've got that as well.
Yes. And the second part, well, Constantine, you just answered my last part, which was how can I follow you on the socials? So I'm going to ask you this, my other part I was going to ask. I'm sure you got some merch. Constantine, you apparently sold some merch by your embarrassing moment.
Yes, I do. Oh, I absolutely adore merch. And I think, I've got a few friends as well that are like, oh, I really want to make merch for my music. And I just don't know if people will buy it. And I'm like, well, don't do it for the other people, do it for you.
Correct.
Because it's so fun. I've worked with some really lovely local talents, designer, Ella Mars Design. She's done all of the designs for all of my merch. And then Mitch at Slosh Printing has done all the printing of my merch. And they're just so talented. I think to be able to collaborate with creatives in your area is just the most fulfilling, wonderful, heartwarming thing you can do. So I did my first line of merch in September last year for my single release Cursive, and
Mhm.
I ended up selling out after just 3 or 4 months, which was crazy. I did not expect that to happen. So I've done a restock of those shirts. I've got some
Yes.
brand new shirts with like a clock design and like a little boot kicking, because those are two, iconic images that have been associated with my music. And I've got some tote bags. I've got CDs now as well that I've done DIY at home, some stickers. And yeah, it's so fun. And I'd like to think it's, yeah, a really authentic, expression of who I am as a musician in art form.
Well, Georgia, it's so awesome having you on the show. I can't wait to see what our listeners also think about your amazing song, which is More Than a Smile, which already released already recently, and can't wait to hopefully see you back here in your hometown, technically speaking, down here in Melbourne later on in the year.
I'd love to. Yes, thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy listening to my music.
And that's Georgia Scarlett there. Join us, because as she mentioned, because her song More Than Smile is obviously on at the moment on your favorite music streaming services, especially on Spotify and of course on Apple Music. Of course, you can follow her there as well on the socials, which we'll post as well. There's more on the Smash Evening Show right after this. Don't go away. Here on the 15th year celebration.
Hi, my name is Georgia Scarlett, and you're listening to Smash FM. You can follow me on all the streaming platforms and social media via Georgia Scarlett Music.